I'm Jessica It's All Good, and I am a stand-up comedian as far as most things are concerned. I also do things like MC events and DJ parties and special events. Who had to fight some traffic to get here? All right, give it up for yourselves. You get extra points, okay? I started September 2012, so actually 13 years. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 13 years. You're right. But that was a great applause. You can add a little bit more energy if you feel good. But that was good. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I give you a 90, okay? All right? Don't play the whatever that was again. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to Woodside Verse Theater, the last live comedy show with your host, Jessica It's All Good. All right, that was smart. Hey, everybody. I was born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. Around the age of 10, we moved to a little place called Liberty, South Carolina. I actually joke about that transition often in my comedy. We didn't even get Santa Claus. Do you know who Santa Claus is? I didn't, because we didn't have him, okay? My parents said in this house, Christmas is about Jesus. And he's the reason for the season. Yeah. Okay, no, y'all, we're not in church right now, y'all. We're in the theater. It used to be a church, not a church, okay? I was 5 years old and scared to eat the Santa Claus and reindeer cookies. Because I thought I was going to hell, people. Every Halloween, we're like, we can't just give the kids some candy. We can't just have some candy. So what do kids do when they leave home? They go buck wild. Anybody, y'all know that person? They're like, when you get out the house, you're gonna go buck wild. And I tell people I was a goody two shoes. I didn't go buck wild, but then I started thinking, wait a minute, Halloween. I had my first Halloween at 18. We did trick or treat with some orphans in the dorms. So thank you to those precious little orphans, because I got my trick or treating in, okay? Now, because I was still scared of my parents until my 30s, my parents didn't know. I know some of you are like, wait a minute, so how old are you? I know, right? My parents did not know that I was celebrating Halloween until I was 32 and 1, okay? I might have been considered quiet if you met me in the past, because I got picked on so much. Like, kids would bully me a lot. So I wanted to kind of not stand out. So as a kid, I would try to blend in. I have 2 brothers. I'm the middle child, so I was often put in the middle. So I would legit try to sit between my brothers when we were out in places, because they were like my safety boogians, if that makes sense. Because every October 31st, conversations got very short. I'm like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad. Yeah, you know what? Listen, I am studying. That was in college. Listen, I got a gig. That was after college. I'm like, listen, I'm broke. My phone is running out of minutes. I'll call you back tomorrow, okay? Because I was going to get my Halloween. I was often put on stage as a child. We were church kids. My mother was big in the music with church, so we were forced on stage as kids to sing on stage. You know how people are like, come on, baby, and they throw the kids up there, and the kids just like, why am I up here? That was like my whole childhood. But around the age of 12, I have what I call the sock puppet story. My life was changed by a sock puppet. My English teacher gave us this assignment, and we had to do sock puppet plays. And when I tell you that something about that little moment affected my entire world, like, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun. My sock puppets were so awesome. They were the funniest ones, to the point that it kind of got through 7th grade that like I had this epic show. And from that moment, I was like, oh snap, I'm funny and I can do, and I'm creative and I'm an entertainer. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna be an actor when I grow up. And so from there, I started getting very heavily invested in figuring out this craft, but I was still dealing with the kids picking on me and such. So it was in between middle school and high school, I went to this summer camp. At this camp, it was acting, singing, instrument, just whatever kind of arts you were in. And I was in the theater program in the drama camp, and it was like heaven. And oh my God. But then ninth grade, I started high school, and I kind of went back into my little shell. Ninth grade sucked. I missed that person that I was in middle school, well, in between middle school, that summer between middle school and high school. And then after I finished ninth grade, I kind of realized no matter what I did, kids are gonna hate me, they're gonna make fun of me, so I might as well have fun, enjoy my life, because me trying to contain myself and figure out the way to impress people, that just wasn't working. So by 10th grade, I was like, you know what, forget all y'all. I'm about to live my best life. I'm gonna have fun. I don't care. You think I'm ugly, fine. I will be ugly and fun and fabulous. And so that part of my childhood is when things really started to change for the better. And that's where these seeds of confidence was planted, and now we have what we have today. So, yay. I am so glad people give me money to do this, okay? This is crazy. Like, y'all, I just talk for a living. That's my job. I talk. And people give me money for it. It's like better than therapy. Because you pay me to tell you my problems. It's beautiful, okay? And some of you are like, well, if I don't want to listen to your problems, fine, leave, but we already got your money. You really got to go. You got to know you want this when you do this, because the level of hustle is insane. So just to give somebody an idea, do understand I'm a full-time entertainer. There's a lot of comedians that go do a 9-to-5 job, then at night and on the weekends, they're out there grinding, trying to find open mics, find opportunities, get themselves out of here, out there in the world. For me, my comedy life is mixed in with all the other things I do as well. So what I'm telling you is just the comedy segment. You will be writing. I honestly don't write as much as I used to. I stayed in my notebook. I kept a notebook on me at all times. If you ever looked in my purse, but you shouldn't be looking in people's purses, but if you ever looked in my purse, you'd see a notebook. I would often keep a notebook on the side in my passenger seat in my car. Yes, at red lights and pulling over, sometimes I would write stuff down because things would just come to me. Now, one of the things I'll do is if I get an idea, I could be in bed, I would sit up, put it in my phone, then later go print out like all the stuff that I came up with in the last few months. Actually, I recently started doing that, and the first time I printed stuff out, I had 30-something pages, like over 1,000 ideas of just potential jokes. So you're writing, you're constantly writing. The main time I do most of the writing is right before shows. If I have a show coming up, I will take the ideas that I think would fit with the show, the group, the demographic, because I do look at those things. If I book with a client, I will ask all these questions so I can pick kind of what would fit for the situation. The cool thing about private events, clients might tell you, well, this is what we do, this is kind of what we're into, can you throw something in to fit certain topics for our organization, our church, our company, our school? So there's that kind of studying people, like all that comes into just preparing for gigs. So you're writing, then you're networking. So I know that things are getting very digital, which I've worked to prepare for that, okay? But business cards, I always make sure I have a certain amount of business cards with me at home. And I always try to travel with some, because anytime, I promise you, any single time I forget to pack my business cards, I meet someone like, wait, you're a comedian? Oh my God, do you have information? I'm just like, I had information. So I actually just recently created a QR code. That's right, y'all, I have a QR code that will take you straight to my website. And that has been a lifesaver in those days where I don't have the card. Because when I say the network it's all about the hustle, that networking is huge. So you're networking, you're writing. That stuff, I think, that's more than what you're doing on stage. At home, I'm not only doing writing, I'm dealing with clients, I'm talking to people. Sometimes you'll get a message, you'll get a phone call, someone's heard about you, so I'm doing those things. I also produce shows, which has been very helpful for my comedy career. So on top of preparing my own work, which is why I think I don't always get to spend as much of the creative side, time on the creative side like I want, I'm also producing shows. I'm calling other comedians. I'm texting them, Instagramming and Facebooking them, because social media is everything now. And I'm doing all these things as I'm working with a client that I'm preparing the show for, then making sure the comedians know where to be and on time, making sure, like, sometimes I'm bringing in the sound system, sometimes I'm bringing in the lights. So there's the element of the producer, the director, the host, the bookie, like all those things. And then I'm driving. I'm in my car a lot. I've gotten into podcasts so I can feel like I'm talking to somebody, because you're in your car all the time. So that, I hope that kind of explains the hustle. And then trying to make sure you get your money right, okay? Because there are some people out here who think, oh, you're just talking. You don't need the money that I promised you. Yes, I do, okay? Gas costs something, all right? Me not being somewhere that was gonna pay me more costs something. Food costs something. So it's also making sure, and it doesn't happen much, but it's also making sure people pay you. Because sometimes I'm still mad about what happened in 2023. The point is, the hustle is crazy, and I hope all that made sense somewhere in there. On your way in, you might have noticed some balloons. Some look happy, some look depressed. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna tell you where not to get your balloons. I thought it was a good idea, but don't go there. Okay? Some of you are like, wait, what just happened? That's right. This comedian who stands before you just became an author! The book. I'm glad you asked. Okay, so my book is called The Cure for Stage Fright, a memoir. My journey to the stage and the lessons I learned along the way. It's so deep, right? It's long. I know it's long. I gotta use fancy words like manuscript. Pages. That's my pages. ISBN. When I say it, that's how I think of it. A memoir. It's so deep. So why I wrote this book, first of all, just like when I was in college and I used to jokingly say my life should be a comedy special and I didn't know I was gonna be a comedian. When I used to teach specifically at colleges, I used to go through different colleges, to different colleges every summer and teach students, usually orientation leaders, who've never been on stage mostly, how to do a play in 3 days and have them on a stage doing a 30 to 45 minute play in 3 days, because I'm a gangster. Gonna get you on stage, okay? And during that time, we would get these kids up so quickly. I'd give them the speech, and I remember thinking one day, I think I was telling one of my assistants, I'm like, you know, I think I've got the cure for stage fright. At this point, I can put anyone on stage, and at this point in my life, I've definitely put over 5,000 people on stage in what I can count and remember. So there's probably more. But in writing this book, the journey was actually really awesome. I was glad to find out that I still have some of those skills from my back in the day, English and literature and all that jazz. But I wanted to share my story, specifically my stories that have to do with getting on stage. So this is broken into 13 stories. I don't know why I held up at 3, because it's only 3, but it's 13. So the point is, this book, it breaks down these particular, like it takes you through these journeys. So some of the things I've spoken to you about just now, specifically of my childhood, is in this, because I figured out the cure to stage fright at an early age. And then I had the chance to test it out. And when I was teaching my students, a lot of these stories from my past would come up on, here's the thing you can do. Listen, you can still be on stage and be okay. You can be nervous and scared and terrified, and you can still do it. These are some of the stories that I broke down, and at the end of every single story that I tell in the book, there's a lesson learned. And those are lessons that people could literally read this book, go with me through this journey of getting to my place on stage, my performance background and all that, and then apply those lessons to their life to the point you can just flip back and find the lessons for moving forward. So the goal was to teach, and the goal was to share and make you laugh a little bit. So it's a short book, because this society can't, no offense y'all, y'all can't sit down and read, not all of you, but there's somebody watching this, reading a whole book. Oh, see, See, it's like, don't nobody want to read 50 million pages anymore, but shout out to my smart people who do. So this book is short. I was like, is it too short? But I'm getting feedback that no, this is the perfect amount of short and it still packs a lot in there. So that being said, great experience. Glad I did it. It's now something that I'm trying to, just like merch, that's my new merch now. We are chocolate shirts and books. They're on Amazon, they're on Barnes & Noble's online site. And if you check out my website, you can also get your copy or come to a show. I'll try to have some at every show. I found my white husband online. Well, he found me. And I thought it was the worst profile I have ever seen. He looked like a serial killer. Certain demographics do a lot better at that than others, so lighting was not helping him. But it turns out it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, y'all. Thank you for the 3 people who care. Some of y'all are clapping like you're confused. But I'll take it, because I just can't believe somebody married me and stayed. Oh my gosh. Great. If there's someone out there who's considering being a comedian, you can do it, okay? Especially if you live somewhere like Atlanta. Getting on stage is so, I'm not gonna say easy, but frequent, if that makes sense. I think one of the reasons switching from acting to comedy worked for me is because I just want to be on stage, okay? When you're in a play, like the one you see behind me, when you're modeling, when you're in film, there's all these things you have to do and practice and get ready for to get on stage. If I wanted to be on stage as a comedian, I can have a show every single night right here in the Atlanta and greater Atlanta area, because there are open mics everywhere. And there's people constantly wanting to laugh. There are people who's just like, we will set up chairs in our backyard if you come over here with your microphone and get on. Like, you can perform anywhere. So it is easy to become a comedian, but if you suck, people will tell you, okay? And getting through that hard part, those beginning stages of just bombing on stage, that is the make or break a lot of people. Then, if you can get through that, then it's the hustle. But anybody who's willing to find it, you got it. So don't be scared. Shout out to anyone who's like, I'm so scared that I should take a class. Then I know a teacher that you could talk to if you need somebody. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed hanging out with me for a little while and learning a little bit about this crazy journey. I encourage anyone who wants to do it to get out there and try. If you want to learn more about me, check out my website, JessicaIt'sAllGood.com. Don't forget that it's. Follow me on social media. Everything is Jessica It's All Good. If you're like, oh, I want to go to a next show, you can check out my event page, or you can join my mailing list. If you join that mailing list, I'll make sure we get information to you so you can know when the next shows are in your area. Of course, always check social media too, because sometimes things are moving faster than we can get things out to you. But I would love to entertain you. So again, JessicaIt'sAllGood.com.